All right, settle in. Some folks see a map, just a collection of lines and names, a way to get from A to B. But you look closer, you feel the pull of the paper, and you realize it's a tapestry of human folly and cosmic indifference. We're about to take a ride not just on some sun-baked asphalt, but through a wrinkle in time itself. We're headed into the heart of Arizona, a place where the earth decided to show its bones, to lay bare the secrets it's been keeping for eons. It's a road trip, sure, but it's also a pilgrimage. First stop, the big one, the Grand Canyon. People come here and they stare. They take their pictures. They point. They say majestic. They say breathtaking. But they're just scratching the surface of the void. What you're really looking at is a wound, carved by a river, a testament to the relentless, patient violence of water against stone. The Hopi people say they emerged from a world below, right in there, a birth canal for humanity. It forces a humility you only get when you see deep time. From the great void to the bleeding hills. Sedona. You can feel it before you see it, a hum in the blood. They call it a vortex, a place where the earth's energy leaks out, swirling like smoke. A spiritual center. To align their chakras. Maybe it's just the iron oxide in the rocks. The rocks glow, a deep, impossible red. You can buy a crystal to cleanse your aura right next to a shop selling t-shirts and fudge. You drive out past the last gallery, you find a trail, and you walk. The silence that settles in isn't empty. It's full. It's watching you. We project our hopes, our fears, and maybe, just maybe, the rocks project something back. A quiet confirmation that we are not entirely alone in this vast, spinning silence. Time, it's a flat circle. Everything we've ever done or will do, we're going to do over and over and over again. And out here in this valley of stone giants, you feel that loop. John Ford saw it. He saw the American myth, a stage built by geologic time for a drama that would define a nation's soul. The lone rider, the silhouette against the sunset, it all started here. They watched the ancient ones come and go, the Navajo. It's a place that makes you feel small, makes you realize the whole human project is just a brief flicker. Each layer of sediment is a page in a book written in a language we can't read. The red dust gets in your lungs. We're all just dust in the end. And you realize this place doesn't need your story. You're just lucky enough to be a witness for a little while. You look at one of these saguaros, and you see the same thing. They're chronicles of survival, standing in silent testimony against the tyranny of the sun. Each arm that reaches for the sky is a decision made over decades. The Gila woodpecker drills a home. The elf owl moves in after. The bats come at night, pollinating the waxy flowers. A whole ecosystem built around this one stoic plant. They've felt the seasons turn, the brief, violent monsoons, the long, soul-crushing droughts. They store water in their flesh, a secret reservoir against the future's thirst. And when one finally falls, it's not an end. It's a transference of energy, a perfect, self-contained story of birth, struggle, and decay. You walk among them and you feel the weight of all that time, all that silent, unflinching existence. It gets inside you. There's a cosmic joke in all this, you know. A tree lives, breathes, reaches for the sun. It falls. It gets buried in mud. Volcanic ash. Over 200 million years, every cell replaced by quartz, by silica, by other minerals. It stops being a tree and becomes stone. A rainbow-colored corpse, alive when dinosaurs walked here, part of a vast tropical forest. They call it the Painted Desert for a reason. Bentonite clay, iron, manganese. They bleed colors into the hills. You can see the growth rings, but when you touch it, it's cold, hard. Life is gone, replaced by something permanent and beautiful and devoid of warmth. The perfect metaphor for a memory. Or nothing is truly lost, it just changes form. The tree's energy is still here, locked in crystals. Not sure it was a good deal, but the result is undeniably beautiful. Time, you see, it's a flat circle, but sometimes that circle gets bent. A river, relentless, meets rock, immovable, and the river, it just goes around. You stand on that precipice, and you're just a speck looking into the abyss, a pupil staring into the unblinking iris of the planet. People come, they take their pictures, but they're missing the point. They're looking at a scar, a beautiful, gaping wound in the earth, and they're calling it a miracle. In the morning, it's one thing. By midday, the sun bleaches it, but it's the sunset. That's when the real show begins. The rock starts to bleed color, purples, reds you didn't even know existed. You're watching the slow, methodical death of a day. It ain't about the view, it's about the recognition. Seeing the shape of your own trap laid out in front of you, 1,000 feet deep and 5 million years old. And then you go underground. You leave the big empty sky behind. You crawl into the veins of the planet. Antelope Canyon. It ain't a canyon, not really. It's a wound, flash floods, a wall of water, mud and rock tearing through this narrow space at impossible speeds. And what it leaves behind is this cathedral of sculpted stone. You can't just walk in. This is Navajo land. They hold the keys. They're the keepers of the secret. They see spirits in the light, stories in the stone. The eagle, the heart, the chieftain. The light, it doesn't shine, it seeps. It drips from the cracks above like liquid gold, like honey. All that's left is a soft, impossible glow. Colors that don't have names out in the regular world. You run your hand along them, touching time itself. You go in one person and you come out the other side. You've been reminded the world has secrets. There's a rot at the heart of the American dream. A darkness. A place called Tombstone. The name says it all, don't it? It was built on a promise. Silver. The kind of promise that draws flies. They talk about the OK Corral like it was some kind of noble duel. But that ain't what it was. It was just 30 seconds of ugly, clumsy violence. The Earps. Doc Holliday. They're not heroes. They're just the men who were left standing when the smoke cleared. It's a stage play now. Reenacting that 30-second mistake over and over for the tourists. We're so desperate for myths, we'll turn a bloody back alley brawl into a national legend. The real Tombstone isn't the town. It's the idea. The idea that you can shoot your way to salvation. A warning. A final bitter joke. Time. Time is a flat circle. They call Jerome the wickedest town in the West. It was a copper town, a billion-dollar jackpot buried in the earth's veins. The old jailhouse slid 225 feet from its original spot. They say there are ghosts here, but a ghost is just a memory with an agenda. Now artists have moved in. They paint the decay, capture light on rusted tin roofs, but the town's still sliding. The gravity of its own past pulling it down, a beautiful kind of decay, slow-motion collapse. A man's life is a collection of delusions. Then you get a man like Robert McCulloch. He saw a city, he saw a lake where there was no water, he carved a lake out of the raw earth, siphoned water from the Colorado River, and called it Havasu. Half a world away, London was selling its bridge, the London Bridge. He bought the damn London Bridge and had it shipped piece by numbered piece across an ocean and a continent. They reassembled it over a patch of dry land, a bridge to nowhere. Then they dug the land out from under it, dredged a channel, and gave the bridge its purpose back. A Victorian ghost dreaming of fog and rain, while speedboats and jet skis buzz beneath its arches. People walk across the same stones that carried centuries of Londoners, and they don't see the madness of it. It proves the craziest idea can carve a new reality. Time is a flat circle, and this bridge is just a stone skipping across it. Out here in the flatlands, time stretches out thin, but then you come across a place like this. A hole in the world. A sudden, violent interruption in the narrative of the earth. A brutal, instantaneous reminder that the universe doesn't always whisper. Sometimes it screams. A chunk of iron and nickel hurtling through the black void decided this patch of Arizona was its final resting place. It carved a bowl a mile wide and hundreds of feet deep. They call it the Barringer Crater, after the man who spent his life and fortune proving it wasn't a volcanic hiccup. The desert keeps its receipts. A cosmic crime scene just waiting for someone to read the signs. We try to tame it with numbers and theories, But you look down into that bowl and you know, all our certainties are whispers before that kind of silence. It's a good place to remember your own scale. You move from the raw wound of the crater to the city phoenix. And here, in the heart of it all, they've gathered the survivors. They call it a garden, but it's more like a museum of tenacity. Twisted, spiny, armored things. Their beauty is harder, earned through generations of struggle, to hoard water like a secret, to wear thorns like a declaration of war against a thirsty world, a saguaro reaching for the sky, the ocotillo playing dead for months, then bursting after a single rain. We put little name tags on them, create pathways so we can walk among them without getting pricked. These plants were here long before our concrete canyons, and they'll be here long after. The night-blooming cereus, the bats, the moths, the creatures of the shadow who understand the garden's other rhythm. It's a reminder that half the story is always told in the dark. Maybe all beauty is just life refusing to die. So the journey winds down. The light gets long and the shadows stretch out like memories across the desert floor. We've stood at the edge of a canyon carved by time, felt the hum of the red rocks, and stared into a hole punched by the heavens. Arizona. It's a place that gets under your skin, a landscape that asks more questions than it answers. It reminds you that for all our noise and fury, we're just passing through. I want to thank you for riding along, for taking this trip through the dust and the light. Now the story keeps going, down in the comments. I'm curious, what part of this place spoke to you? Was it the silence of the valley, the ghosts of the gunslingers, or the patient stare of a cactus? Every person sees a different truth out here. So go on, add your verse to the story. Hit that subscribe button. All right, the sun's down and the stars are starting to poke through that big black blanket up there. It's been a pleasure sharing this stretch of the road with y'all. Take care of yourselves out there and remember to appreciate the silence every now and then. It's where the real stories are hiding. Until next time, y'all come back now, you hear?